Locker room, locker room, locker room. What's up, locker room? I am so excited to be here on this Tuesday. Man, it's off season going kind of fast here. I mean, we got a lot going on right here. Yes, yes. Another Michael stains the game. This time it's Michael B. Jordan. That's interesting. Not Michael Jordan, but Michael B. Jordan. You know what, man? When I was with him on first take, and let me say congratulations for winning the Oscar to Michael B. Jordan, winning for Sinners. And let me tell you, I think he did an excellent job in the movie Sinners. I love that movie. Playing two roles, the whole thing was put together so well, man. It was opening that little juke joint, the old white guys that wanted to kill all the black people sold them that juke joint, knowing those creatures were out there and those creatures would come. And yeah, that was a good movie. That was a good movie. So they did a great job. I want to congratulate Michael B. Jordan on all of that. Now, because it's sports, Michael B. Jordan I can start with because Oscars is big. Michael B. Jordan is like Michael Jordan. I can tie that in. And I love the kind of monomaniacal attitude Michael B. Jordan got. He talked about he's not out like that, drinking all that. He's really about that work. He wants to be the great actor. He wants to be a Denzel Washington. Denzel's the man to me. And incidentally, did y'all see that they're starting, and it's on Netflix too. They're doing this Man on Fire series. That's my favorite movie. My favorite movie, period, is Man on Fire. Well, yeah. Tony Montana's in there, Scarface, and that's probably Al Pacino's. Yeah, 1 and 1A. I'll put Al Pacino and then Denzel because of The Godfather just being just what it is. The Godfather is Godfather, and then Tony Montana to play Godfather. And Tony Montana, you gotta be my man. I want Denzel up there because he's a brother too, but Denzel is a bad dude. Man on Fire, one of my best movies. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone out there too. And you know what, Pete? Here we go. I just got back from the car show. I want a few days of just resting, not seeing any guys, not out drinking. I just want to wake up and go running, go work out. And then here comes St. Patty's Day. It's always something that we got to celebrate. And we always got to celebrate the drinking. Like, I want to get feeling like I'm working out and training, but then every day we got a new something to celebrate. So today is St. Patty's Day. So I want to say happy St. Patty's Day to everybody. And I know today everybody will get out and do their thing, having some fun, drinking and putting it away. I'm just saying, be safe. Have you a designated driver or just do some Ubering or Lyft or whatever you got to do, but be safe. Big news today that we can jump right into. It just happened that the Dolphins traded wide receiver Jaylen Waddle to the Denver Broncos. Let's talk about this right now, guys, because y'all saw it when the Exodus started. I was shocked when the Exodus started because they said right after Tua released Tyreek and then Tua, I heard Jaylen Waddle wanted out. I thought maybe that was cap. I'm like, why would you want out if the guy in front of you just left and now this is about to be your team? But obviously, something did go in, something went down because Jaylen Waddle is now going to the Denver Broncos. And let's first talk about this trade. Let's talk about how you see this trade. Waddling at Mile High. Double star 88. What's up, my brother? Good to see you again. I appreciate you always being here too, man. But waddling at Mile High, man. No, buddy. No, Kendrick. Kendrick Ball. It won't be me. He asked what I'm going to play next season for the boys. No, I wish. Ain't no needs on this. Not like I need them to be. Ain't no needs on it. But I'm in Miami. I'm going to get my knees worked on while I'm here in Miami sometime soon. I need to get that done. But Jaylen Waddle goes to the Denver Broncos. Who wins this trade? Because that's the talk everybody's going to be talking. Who gets the best of this trade? You know what I mean? Oh, what do you mean? Is this really you or AI? What is AI? Can I stand here? Can you think AI is good enough that somebody can be standing in here for me, the way I talk, everything? You think that the little things. Do you really believe? And I think I'm not clean enough to pull off a look like an AI because I got too many, mannerisms that AI would clean up to make it clean. You know what I mean? So you cannot duplicate a goat. He's right. You can't duplicate a goat, not like that. Not even AI can get this one. So I'm just saying, no, it's really me. It's really me, 100% me, and that's what it is. But what I want to do, you guys type in for me, Miami, Denver, Miami Broncos, Dolphins, Broncos. Let me see what I'm starting to get on who we say won this trade. Because I got some thoughts on this trade. Man, you get Jaylen Waddle, waddling, I like that though, waddling at Mile High. Mm. All of a sudden, you got Waddle at Mile High. All right, I got you. I see a Miami. I see a Miami, and okay, most people, I see some people coming up with the Miami, Miami, Miami. But, because right now, let me tell you what Miami got. Miami receives a 2026 first round pick, 2026, that third round pick, and a 2026 fourth round pick. Denver got back Waddle and the 2026 fourth round pick. So they swapped fourths, gave Miami a first and a third. And this thing is swinging because now Broncos are running it. Broncos are out front 60-40 right now. And hey, I love you too, Aaron. I appreciate that too. Appreciate that. Appreciate you saying that. And I really do love you guys. I really do. I appreciate being here. I appreciate you guys showing up. Appreciate chatting with you, man, being able to talk some sports and talk some ball. You know, I'm just looking at this meter right now, and it looks like everybody, which I'm surprised to see everybody saying that Denver's winning this. It's up right now 65-35, man, which is incidentally about what you want when you're dealing with people out here. I want about 65-35 approval. 65 in, 35 out. The 35 out, they're going to keep it stirred up for me. And the 65 in, they'll keep debating the 35 out. So that's just usually how you want to do it when you're doing this thing that I'm doing right now, any kind of broadcasting, anything like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, look, Miami's getting a little say in here, pulling a little closer to 55-45 now, but I'm gonna give you some thoughts on this. Denver gets Jaylen Waddle. Miami, yes, Miami did a good job. They get now another first round pick and another third round pick. And they swap fourth round picks. So I want you to think about it this way. Yeah. That Miami pick at number one that they get from Denver is pick 30. So I'm sure Denver looked at it as, yeah, it's officially a first round pick, but it's basically like a second round pick. And if I'm saying I think I can find a Jaylen Waddle at pick 30 and he shows up right now, I don't know. I don't know about calling that. I don't know that I can find a Jaylen Waddle in this draft at pick 30 that's going to play like him and demand the respect, command, some double teams and some help by safeties at the 30th pick. So you look at it and start saying, man, they got a lot of additional picks. Miami now has 7 picks before the top 100 and 11 total. You know what I'm saying? So Miami can really stack some young talent for all of this Green Bay infusion, the head coach, the GM, the quarterback, Malik Willis. You start putting that young talent and build something in there. And you can say, yeah, with all those picks, Miami can build. And that's very good for Miami. It is, because we don't know what Miami's going to be. We'll wait to see. Now Malik Willis back at quarterback, bringing that system. What's the same system they had before anyway? Because they all were the West Coast system. So Malik Willis is coming over now. And that's another thing I'm surprised Waddle leaving. You understand the offense very well. But going to Denver, you send Waddle to Denver, yeah, Miami get a chance to start rebuilding and put things together. But Denver gets Jaylen Waddle? Dude, to me, after for all the picks Miami get, but Jaylen Waddle and the Denver Broncos wins this trade. All of a sudden, you got a Waddle at Mile High. Did y'all catch what I just did? All of a sudden, you got a Waddle at Mile High. All of a Cortland Sutton. Now you got a Waddle at Mile High. Look at your boy, Sean Payton, playing good old-fashioned football. Good old-fashioned football, that's when you had the big guy and the small, fast guy. That's Jaylen Waddle was the small, fast guy, Cortland Sutton, the big guy. And those two together with Bo Nix going to do some big damage. Only thing they had at wide receiver last year at Denver was Cortland Sutton. And look how far they went. Look how far they went. Yeah. With Cortland Sutton. Now you're going to give them Jaylen Waddle. It's going to be crazy in Denver. You know who should hate this trade more than anybody? It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Because they're thinking, oh my God, we needed a Waddle. We could have gotten Waddle. We should have gotten Waddle. And we don't know what's going on with Tyreek Hill. Incidentally, I may be having Drew Rosenhaus. I'm gonna get his agent on maybe next week to talk about it. This week on the show, we got Geno Smith coming up, and I think this is a great story. It's a great story, and I don't mean to digress, but I just my whole mind flipped when I saw him sign back with the Jets. I thought that's a great story. I was like, I need to talk to him. I want to talk to him. Because that's going to be interesting. I'll talk about it in a second. But Jaylen Waddle in Denver, you can say what you want. If they could have had Bo Nix healthy and they would have had a Jaylen Waddle last year, Denver would have gotten to a Super Bowl. No doubt in my mind. That's why when you start talking about who wins this trade, I'm like, just like most of you guys, we ended up about 60-40 Denver winning the trade. I concur with that conclusion. And I understand the 40% going Miami because they're seeing an opportunity to build, right? But adding Jaylen Waddle to what we saw in Denver last year, and that defense Denver got, and now you have speed. That's going to be a scary thing for the AFC West. It's going to be, and Bo Nix is not Patrick Mahomes, but that's what Patrick Mahomes had over there in Kansas City for so long that made it so scary. Now this team, Denver, is a scary team. Not just a team that can beat you to play solid ball and do everything right. This is a scary team because that kind of speed puts fear. I put fear in everybody. Let me see what you got here, man. That's double star again. I agree. Broncos 7. Broncos Seattle. Seattle would have been a much more competitive Super Bowl. You think so? That's an interesting question. That's an interesting take. Broncos Seattle, only because Broncos defense was stacked, man. Broncos defense was stacked. And Seattle, I don't know if I would have gotten much out of that offense, especially without Bo Nix playing, and especially without a Jaylen Waddle. Now this Broncos Seattle game would be a whole different game with Jaylen Waddle, a whole different game. I don't know which team I would pick. If Denver had Jaylen Waddle and Bo Nix on the field, that would be a different game. I would know who I would pick in that as I'm thinking about that. Yeah, I don't know who I would pick in that if I had those games right now. But right now, for me, I'm telling you guys, Jaylen Waddle going to Denver is going to be spectacular. I'm taking the Denver Broncos right now, best team in the AFC. Right now, Jaylen Waddle makes the Denver Broncos top team in the AFC. I don't care what anybody says. Thank you for doing this live show and your YouTube videos. So on point and so real and so timely. I appreciate that. And I appreciate having a chance to do those videos. I am a huge fan. What's up? What's up, my brother? How you doing too, man? You know, what's up? Where do you see Dallas future? Let me talk about that, where I see Dallas future, because Jerry Jones said something today. Jerry Jones, I'm glad you brought it up. Jerry Jones made a statement that I clearly believe is totally spot on. Jerry Jones today, had we played a lick of defense last year, we would have had ourselves, I think, a real playoff run. He ain't lying. I mean, a lick of defense. I mean, any kind of defense. Just a thoughtful defense. Just everybody, all 11 guys on defense, that we can think about defense at the same time. They weren't doing none of that. They were not doing any of it. And honestly, man, the last, let me say this, the last 7, 8 years, 6 or 7 years watching the Dallas Cowboys, I have seen what I would consider some of the worst defenses I've ever seen in the National Football League. In the National Football League. Those, 3 years in a row, they went 12-5. You remember when we had that Oprah Winfrey defense giving everybody 200 yards rushing here and there and doing anything. And then last year, I don't know where the linebackers were. I mean, they were hitting the wrong hole, guy hitting the hole on hitting the 5 hole, and the guy's coming through the 3 hole. Like, how can you miss that? That's the deal. Those 1, 3, 5, 7. You know, like how are you missing these? It's just an amazing thing to watch. Sometimes it really is. Like, dude, I don't play linebacker, but I knew where that ball was coming. You can tell that. So you look at the read of the lineman, yeah, and how are we out of place on defense? So Dallas has to address that, and they have to address it every way. I don't care if you don't pick up not one other player on offense besides George Pickens. Just make sure you give it George Pickens. You already got Javonte Williams. You already paid him. So now you just got to go get George Pickens. And I'm gonna tell you, this is Alec Pierce deal makes that a mug, makes that a situation right there. Keep the ball. Let's go. What was it? Playmaker, we're gonna make up. Go back over there. Go back to what he was saying. Playmaker, let me see what he said. Playmaker, we're gonna make up for it watching see Pickens, Lamb, and Dak and offensive line. I'm with you on that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But we gotta do something on defense. We gotta at least think about defense. Get somebody on some line where we can make some stops. Man, if we had a lick of defense, like Jerry Jones said, if we had a lick of defense, we would get it done. There is no doubt in my mind we would get it done. We would win any kind of it. Would have certainly been in that battle with Seattle. I think we could have played with Seattle, but here again, Sam Darnold did what he needed to do offensively to make that thing work. So now Dallas got to go in. Oh man, that would have been a hell of a thought. So I got to stop thinking about that. I ain't even thinking about that because to have DeMarcus Lawrence would have been in a Super Bowl going up against the Dallas Cowboys. That would have been a hell of a story. But that story gone. But see, I don't think about going back to back. I don't know. And if we can get that liquor defense this year and play offense, and listen, we all know Dak Prescott gonna be playing with a heavy heart or heavy pockets, because the wedding got broken off. So he'll keep his money. So he'll be playing. Yeah, it's hard to be heavy because he no longer is getting married to his beautiful wife. His beautiful fiance and a beautiful kid with the beautiful kids, beautiful family. But yeah, I wonder how that's going to affect that. One or two things happen when you go through stuff like this. You either just zero in or you zero out. And that, I believe, will zero in and try to, deal with the pain of it and the stain of it by going and winning some games in it. And winning the championship, I believe, really helped, because at least, you know how guys are. You know how guys. You want to believe that no way anybody will leave you. And if she, okay, oh, well, okay, it's off, it's over, okay, now you're going to see. So you could have been here while we're making this championship run. You could have been hanging out. Everybody would putting the camera on you. Oh, there's Dak's wife right there. Her and the kids, Back to the game. Oh, look at the wife and kids. They're so happy out there. Oh, he just scored a touchdown. He just threw a touchdown. Things like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. Mike, check this out. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, the best duo in the NFL. Then throw Joe Burrow and get ready. They're coming. No doubt. No doubt. But what y'all going to do on defense in Cincinnati? What are you going to do? You had that stack on offense for quite a while, and you still start slow, and you don't have the defense. This and even more so there, man. And I love them. I love them, man. I had a great time with them in Miami. But Joe Burrow got to stay healthy. Joe Burrow's right now, man. It's if he can stay healthy and they can keep all three of those guys on the field, I concur. Cincinnati will have a chance to do some things, but they got to do one thing. They got to start faster. They got to keep Joe Burrow healthy. Period. And they got to play some defense. And they got to do that without Trey Henderson because now he's with the Ravens and sent Max Crosby back to the Raiders. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out too. But I can't wait to see it. And yeah, I'll give Cincinnati a chance to get in there. You know what I mean? Might get a best of all time. I'm one of your biggest fans, but so late on us. I know you have to inside track. You're smart. What? You know what? Brandon always saying that. Brandon Marshall. When I tell you, man, Brandon, listen, this is going on the show. Brandon jumps in like, man, you've been talking with Jerry. Stop playing. You know. And sometimes I do talk with Jerry, but sometimes it's not for me to say anything until Jerry says it. And then we can talk about it after he says it. But it's not up to me to get out here and say anything prior to him saying it. I gotta give him the chance to say that first. You know what I'm saying? To make sure. But listen, dude, and I do want to talk about it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And I'm going to tell you guys about this. To have Geno Smith on. I agree he should be on the Century 100 all-time team. That bothered me. I'm not going to lie. That one bothered me. Like, how the hell I didn't make, well, yeah. But you know what? It's talking about the Century 100 all-time players they had, and I remember they didn't have me in there. And I remember looking at all the receivers or something like that and thinking I wouldn't trade my career with any one of those guys, And I guarantee you, a bunch of those guys on that list would trade their career with mine. They had a few more catches, and we had to have a few more catches. But what is that? I had 3 Super Bowls and some had none. So yeah, that's the way I looked at that. So I didn't have any problem with that. But yeah, I do want to talk about this. I do want to talk about this. Kind of time is moving. About me having Geno Smith on the White House show and giving me a chance to talk to him. Do you guys know? Think about this. Geno is going back to the Jets. Wow. You saw yesterday they moved Justin Fields. Traded Justin Fields, got him moved. So obviously now this is going to be Geno moment. I can't wait to talk to him about this. How often do we, as older, wiser people, get to go back and run the tracks of our youth? Go back and walk the tracks of those youth, those same footsteps that Geno walked in on. And my theory, my thought when I see this story, I see this Geno Smith story doing this. Now he returns back to New York, but he's mature now. He's more settled. He's stable. And if he can return to New York and with the young defensive African American coach, somebody he can latch on with. When he first came in as a rookie, they were trying to help him. Now he's coming back as a vet with young people around him, and he's going to try to help them. Geno now has been playing solid enough football that he can get a team in the playoffs. That's what he did. He can get a team in the playoffs. And if he moves this team from where they are to playing towards playoff ball, moving towards playoff ball, move up to 7-8 wins this year. Then next year, maybe you go in and you get 9 or 10. Yeah, I'm talking about Geno over the next 4 years. I can see having a great landing spot back where he started in New York. They played New York maybe the next 3-4 years, and then New York drafts another young rookie to come in and sit behind him for 1 year. Who better to teach a rookie how to handle New York than Geno Smith? That's how my mind starts working when I see the story of a Geno Smith. See, I don't see it as a negative story, Geno returning back to New York. I see that as a hell of an opportunity and a hell of a positive story because you can change the narrative of that stain in your life. You've been a first round pick in New York, and a lot of guys go to, the Sam Darnolds, Geno's, and they find it hard because of all of the attention on the quarterback position in such a high a big market like New York and all the people talking about it. But Geno has found his footing outside of New York. Now he's stepping back to New York. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see that, man. It's going to be interesting to see how they play out. Him going back now, even being more mature. How does he handle the media in New York? I got to ask him about all of this stuff. What's going to what was the best thing that prepared you for now, thinking you're ready to go hit New York again and bring back different results? So yeah, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait. Is this Geno Smith's career totals right there? His career totals, 109 games. 65% completion percentage, 89 interceptions, 87.5 passer rating. Geno's that's a solid career. It's a solid career. And Geno's won some games and played some good football for some teams. So now, let's see how happens. Last year, he moved with 67% completion percentage, 19 TDs and 17 interceptions. And yeah, those 17 interceptions are big. And I'll ask about that. But yeah, this is going to be, I think, a fascinating story. And it's all about his mindset and where he is. And I can't wait to see where he is when I talk with him. And I don't know. I don't know. I can't wait to see where he is when I talk with him. But watching that, it's going to be interesting. I want to see how he's going to handle the media this time. You know, it's interesting too, because Brandon Marshall and him was in New York at the same time. And from what I understand, because I grasped it and kind of studying up with Brandon, is that, well, I'm not going to blow the story. I'm going to wait. You guys find it. You see it. Because it's a fascinating story. I'll just peek in on this. I'll let you know this. Brandon and Geno lived together. When Brandon went to New York, Geno was just a young guy. And Brandon was going to do for him what I had done for Brandon as a young guy, help him find the footing and see the greater light. And things didn't go quite right with that. And there's going to talk about that also on that show. So that's going to be interesting. And I won't spoil that. I'll let Brandon and Geno share that with you guys over on the other side over there. You know what I mean? Wait, look at my boy, Just Cool, or whatever, how you say your name, hey, dog. Tell me, you hit that line just yet, bro? My boy. I'm glad, Just. I'm not even giving you. It did give me a picture of a nose with a line. That's the first one I've gotten in quite a while. So I'm all right with that, Just. Keep it coming, buddy. I told you we need 65, 35 even here. So you're part of the 35, that's okay. We'll keep that stirred up with you. You know what I'm saying? So I can appreciate that. My boy, the playmaker. What's up, my man? How you call that? That a GQ? Okay, yeah. You know, can I say that? Gay and human? How do you say that? Yeah. No, the next one up. How do I say that one right there? I don't know. See, some of these people, some of these handles, and I'm learning about these handles. Yeah, I guess it's more personality sometimes than people. Some of the things you throw in here. Love you, big dog legend. Appreciate that, dog. You're my brother. My brother always. Need you on the sideline every Sunday. I wish I could be on the sideline every Sunday like I do in Miami. But do you guys think the intensity of professional football is the same as it is in college football? See, sometimes I think we get too bougie in the NFL. In college, bougie. You just go and you have fun. And there's nothing like college. So yeah, I don't know if it goes all quite the same. If if I'm putting belt to ass in a professional game. You know what I mean? In college out there, the kids go crazy about it. The section, they have a section they're waiting on. People are not going to do that at a pro game. They're trying to skirt out of there so fast at pro game. They're not just, in college game, it's just an atmosphere. Nobody's trying to run. We're just trying to have fun. Even after the game, people are still hanging out. So it's a little different. But if the Cowboys get rolling like that, catch them rolling. I don't mind hanging out. And I do believe, like Miami, I believe we're going to be going undefeated. When I look at the schedule, when I look at the team, I look at the coach, we're going to go undefeated. And let me say this too, because I didn't say this, and I'm going to start this right now. Let me say it the right way. Congrats to our AD on winning AD of the year. Dan Radford, congrats, my brother, on winning AD of the year. I don't know how long it's been since the last time we heard that. Did they ever give Sam Jankovic when I was here like AD of the year, and we were winning everything back then? But they were so happy. They were so ass mad at us when we were winning. I don't know if they would have given Sam. Sam was a bad man. I don't know. I don't remember if he won one though. But Dan Radovic, congrats, my brother. Congrats. Now I got to make sure I post that. Nathan and Gene, I remember I hit you guys the other day, yesterday on that. I got to make sure I put that. Oh, we did post. Okay, we posted on Twitter. Because I haven't seen it. I've been moving around. I need to get it out. And my boy, no, we put it up there. I told y'all I appreciate him. Yeah, no, we got it. Y'all locked and loaded. I was like yesterday, right? Well, yesterday I got locked and loaded. Yesterday, getting here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Congratulations to our AD. Taking care of family business. That's what I told him. Okay, y'all should know y'all got that out there. Ain't that something, man? Huh? Wait a minute. Are we not proud? Wait a minute. Mike, I got Deion Sanders action figure. Y'all win a Super Bowl with Deion, and I got your card. Okay, I was about to say, boy, I just thought I got to call Dion. Boy, telling me he's got Dion action figure and asking me and he got your card. Will you sign your card? Yeah. That's what I was in Chicago doing. I was going to say you should have called me in Chicago, but I understand. Wherever you catch me, I'll take care of that for you, buddy. Don't worry about it. Hey, Mike, my dad is the offense line coach for the Dolphins. I would like to know, what is your thoughts on the Dolphins in this trade? That's what I was talking about. Thoughts on Dolphins in this trade. I'm happy for the Dolphins because obviously they want a whole new, it's what they should. They want a whole new culture in Miami. And that's what you do when you come into a place and you thought the culture was so bad. You start getting rid of the best players so you can create your own culture. So the Tyreek Hills, the Waddle, and the Tours, that was the mainstay of mine. They built the culture there. Them themselves, you know, says things had to change. Tour said things had to change last year. We need to change culture and do some things, and that's what the Dolphins doing by getting rid of all of them and saying we're going to change the culture. So I like Miami saying we're moving to the future. I like Miami getting all of these picks they got in the top 100, to get some new players, young players to add to the new direction that they are going. But it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. And it wasn't a horrible football team that Miami had. They just did play together very well. And it got very predictable, with Tyreek Hill being the mainstay and the main focus and not enough diversity within your offense. That everybody knew if I could stop Tyreek Hill in these in that little area right over the linebacker, right before the safety, that Tua likes to drop that ball. If I can stop that area and stop them throwing the ball on both sides right down that seam, then they didn't have much else. And that's usually what happened. So they'll come up with a more diverse offense this time. A more diverse offense and a more diverse system and a better culture of playing football and playing together. I think that'll be interesting to watch and what happens in Miami. But we don't know how that turns. We don't know. Are we expecting Malik Willis now? You see him play a few games and you say, oh, great. But now you have a whole season. And you have a whole season with people getting a book on you. So now teams are going to be reading and studying. Remember, Tua had great years, but people kept studying and reading that book and studying and reading that book. And then all of a sudden, the years weren't so great. So even getting there is one thing, staying there is another. You can work yourself to being a great quarterback. But staying there each and every year, people are going to study you more, learn more, and try to do more things against you. They're going to learn your habits, learn how you play the game. They're going to figure things out. And then you got to move your next chess piece. That's the game. This is a game of chess. They move, you move. You move, they move. But we got to always keep moving and moving towards something great if you're going to do something great in this league. You can't stay stagnant. Every year you got to take something and say, I'm going to improve on this. I'm going to improve on this. I'm going to improve on this. Because every year people are studying you to try to say, I'm going to get better against him on this. I'm going to get better against him on this. That's why you got to keep getting better. So I like what Miami's done. But we got to wait to see what this new culture presents. And in most games, I'm going to tell you guys this too. Most games, most teams like this. I don't usually think much of preseason unless it's this kind of situation. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Dolphins, this is an important preseason for you because you're trying to lock in that new culture. And what locks in the flavor of good food or what locks in the flavor of your new culture is way, even preseason games. So this preseason, when Miami takes the field, it's not a regular preseason. They got to win to solidify everything that they've been hearing since the new coach and the new package have come over from Green Bay. The only way for that culture to resonate down in your spirit is if it's attached to success. So preseason football, even though those games don't count more for teams like Miami because they're trying to build the new culture. So it's very important that they start off right, that they have some early success, and that they see, oh man, this does work. We just got to keep buying in and trust the process. And this will work out quickly, and this will work out great. You know how I know? Because in 3 years, we went from 3-13, 1-15, to winning 3 Super Bowls in 4 years because of the culture. Once it got in, we started believing, started having success, and great things started happening. Speaking of great things starting happening, we're about to start March Madness. March Madness. March Madness is about to start. What? Starting on Thursday. Let me tell y'all right now. And I don't know how you guys watch it. Let me tell you how I watch March Madness because I get so busy. Right? I'm so busy and there's so many college games on during the season. It's hard to say, oh, well, Miami's always my team. But you know what I mean? It's hard to watch it all and watch it and have a team. Oh, I think this team's going to win. I think that team's going to win. So what I do, like right around now, you start watching all the tournaments and then you watch who gets in, Selection Sunday, you watch who gets in, and then you watch games. And I attach to the story within the game. Like if I'm watching a game right now, who do I want to win? I would watch like, okay, I watch and say, I like that story. That's a great story. I'm pulling for that team. I like that underdog story. That's a great story. Oh man, he did what? I like the personal story about this player on this team. And then I'll attach that and start watching. But it always happens. This time, you'll see all of the games. You start watching the games. And then I'll be watching the game and something, Connecticut's going for something or there's some record out here. Or you're telling me about a player that had to fight through hell to get here. And he fought through hell in life and he fights like hell on the court and I can attach to that story. You see what I mean? That's how I watch March Madness. I can't tell you the level of play and the teams in each bracket, but when I start Thursday watching the tournament and start talking about and listening and hearing the stories, remember what I always say, the journeys, I measurement and distance travel. I hear about how a man got to where he got to, the fight he had to fight to get there, now the fight to stay there. That's what I attach to. That's what I love watching. And then that's what I'll follow as they go through the tournament. You know what I mean? That's how I watch March Madness. And I love it because I'm a storyteller. So I'm looking forward to the story. I want to pull something out to excite somebody. And that's why I tell you, I'm looking for that great story in the journey because I want to pull that story out and inspire or motivate someone in the locker room. All right. So let's get ready to enjoy that starting Thursday and coming back here, chatting on it and talking about it. I want to say also, congratulations, USA versus Venezuela in the World Basketball Classic Championship. That game goes on tonight right here in Miami. World Baseball Classic. That's it, baseball. That's it. I didn't say basketball classic. That's the World Baseball Classic, right? I just said it. Yeah, I was shocked. I thought USA was going to have a problem with Dominican the other day, Dominican Republic, but Dominican need that ball, boy. They were swinging, but we came through. We came through, and it's on against Venezuela, and that's it's a whole lot in that. So we'll watch that. That'll happen tonight. Let's see if Miami. I'm in Miami. Let's see if USA, because we're here in Miami. Here in Miami, I'm in Miami too. Can pull this off. So we'll talk about that next time we get a chance to chat. I got to run down here now in Miami and go do some other work with Netflix. So I'll chat with you guys next week. I can't believe an hour has gone by already. That's 3:30 to 4:30. That was quick. Now I gotta go deal with this traffic and get to Miami. I appreciate you guys showing up. I love you guys always, and I'll see you here. Jackson, I love you too. I love you, Michael. I love you, Jackson. I love you too. I'll see you guys right here, same bat channel, about the same bat time next week. God bless my peeps. Somebody